Hello, Miss Barron here. I'm going to be going over some stoichiometry problems, kind of the first level here, which are moles to moles conversions. So with the moles to moles conversions, you are going to be using a balanced chemical equation to help you convert from moles of one substance into moles of another substance. The balanced equation, the numbers that go in front, so if I'm going to balance this equation real quick, I put a 2 here so that I have 2 chlorines on either side. But since I put that 2 there, I also now have 2 potassiums on either side, so I have to put a 2 here as well, which works out because now there's 2 F's on either side and 2 F's here. You can leave this blank or put a 1 there. So now this equation is balanced. So those numbers that I wrote in the front, those actually are called the coefficients, and they also represent the number of moles or the mole-to-mole ratio. So we can use those numbers to help us convert between the different substances within the equation. So for this first example, if I have 8 moles of F2, how many moles of KF reacted? So that's fluorine and potassium fluoride. So to do this, you're going to set up a picket fence. So you're going to start with 8 moles of F2, which is what they gave you in the problem. And we're going to set up our picket fence. So like all picket fences, the unit that goes here in the bottom has to be the same as the unit here so that ultimately they cancel out in the end. So I know that moles of F2 have to go here. How do I figure out how many moles of F2? That's when I'm going to look at the balanced equation. So notice F2, there's a 1 in front of it. So that's 1 mole of F2. I'm getting that from the equation. Now they're asking me to convert into moles of KF. So above that, I'm going to put moles of KF. That's potassium fluoride. Well, how many moles of KF? I'm going to again use the balanced chemical equation, so 2. Moles of F would cancel in the top and the bottom, and I would do 8 times 2 to get 16 moles of KF. So the numbers that you're plugging in here from your picket fence, you are getting them from the balanced equation. So this is how I converted between moles of F2 to moles of KF, which are 2 different substances. So let's do one more example. I'm going to be using the same equation. So if I have 7 moles, I'm going to use a different color. If I have 7 moles of Cl2, how many moles of KCl reacted? Well, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to start with what was given. So 7 moles of KCl, or I'm sorry, 7 moles of Cl2, which is chlorine. And we need to convert that into moles of KCl, which is potassium chloride. Now, since we're already in moles, and we'll get more into this later, once you have moles, you can start using this the balanced chemical equation, because again, those numbers in the front, these numbers here, that's representing moles. It's representing the mole-to-mole ratio between all of these different substances involved in this chemical reaction. So again, like any picket fence, the units that you have here need to be the same as the units that are here. So ultimately, in the end, they cancel. So if you're ever stuck with a picket fence, just write the unit that you know will go there. Okay, well, it's moles of Cl2. How do I figure out how many moles of Cl2? Well, I look at the balanced equation. 1 mole of Cl2, that's the number that's in front. and then how many moles of KCl reacted. So we're trying to convert from chlorine, which is Cl2, into KCl. So in the top, I'm going to put moles of KCl. That's what I'm trying to convert into. How many moles of KCl? Well, according to the balanced chemical equation, 2. So 7 times 2 is 14 moles of KCl. These were both very similar problems, but again, with a picket fence, you multiply everything in the top, and then you divide by whatever's in the bottom. In this case, both times the bottom was 1, but that might not always be the situation. For the next set of problems, I'm going to go ahead and just balance this equation. Okay? And you're going to now use the balanced equation to help you complete these two problems here.